Ghostbusters Afterlife is a movie that I've been looking forward to for a while, mainly because it's being directed by Jason Reitman, who is the son of Ivan Reitman, who directed the original Ghostbusters. Also, I remember like a poster of like Ecto-1 in a cornfield. So this movie finally came out, and I heard it wasn't that great, so I went in with low expectations, but not really knowing anything about it. And I gotta say, I enjoyed the movie overall. The movie is very enjoyable. It's going for a very old school 80s family-friendly film like E.T. or something like that. You definitely can tell that the way the movie's directed, the music as well, the cast of mostly kids. But we're mainly focused on Phoebe. She is a dorky child. She's like 12, a bit of a prodigy when it comes to science, but her mom doesn't really like it. And then she's got an older brother named Trevor. He's a bit of a gearhead, and they're having money troubles, but we don't know why. But anyways, her mother has inherited Egon Spengler's house, and she doesn't know of the connection she has with that Ghostbuster. So they have to move to Somerville, which is this dinky town in the middle of nowhere. However, there's earthquakes that happen there, and Phoebe starts, trying to make friends, start a new life. They're actually going to have to live there for the summer because the house isn't worth anything. But it's full of junk, and it's about like the kids discovering Ecto-1. So Trevor starts building it up because he wants to have a car to pick up a waitress. And Phoebe befriends a summer school teacher who's a seismologist. And they start investigating the sort of weird stuff that's happening. Also, Phoebe befriends Podcast. He's like this dorky kid with a podcast. So overall, the movie is enjoyable, but it can be a little bit nostalgia baity. There's a lot of fan service. There's so much fan service is shoved in the movie because I don't know if they're afraid, but I guess they got their budget slashed because the 2016 movie had like a huge budget, and then this one only got like 75 million. So they had to work with a little bit more. The movie's very slow in its pacing for the first 75% of the movie because you're mostly just focusing them on characters and stuff like that, and they're sort of just building up the storyline, and then all the ghost busting happens in the last like third of the movie, and a lot of like there's many parts of the film I was watching where I'm like, get to the ghosts, where's the busting, where's the proton pack, I want to see it. But they sort of go really slow, and they take its time, so it's okay. Also, I like the characters this time. They're enjoyable. Some of the characters don't get to do too much though. For example, Trevor, the brother, he's pining after this girl at work, and he mostly is just like there to drive the car. He doesn't get to do much else. Same with the mom. I recognize the actress. She's really good, but the role in itself is really boring. It's basically just like a struggling single mother who likes to drink. They didn't really play that up. It could have been played by anyone, like the mom from Young Sheldon. I think the person who does the best is obviously McKenna Grace is the main character. She does a really good job. Podcast is also enjoyable too, but I noticed that he sucks so much that he almost gets them killed a couple times. I don't think anyone noticed that, but it was like 3 times where he messes up. But either way, when the ghost busting happens, it's more fun at the end. But also the movie gets a little bit too comfortable with the whole callbacks because the last third of the movie is the exact same climax as the first Ghostbusters. Same villain, same setup. So there wasn't really a chance to do anything new story-wise. But overall, the movie is enjoyable. I had a good time. It definitely feels like a course correction movie. I noticed Sony did that 3 times this year. If you remember, they made a Suicide Squad back in 2016 that people didn't like, so they made a new one this year. And they also made a Ghostbusters from 2016 that people didn't like, so they made a new one this year. And then there was also the Justice League movie from 2017, and they remade that this year. So I guess we're just like remaking movies that suck now entirely within like 7 years, but whatever. So overall, yeah, Ghostbusters does have the heart in the right place. It's not perfect, but it's definitely an enjoyable mix of reboot and sequel because it's sort of, this is a movie you can take your family to and they can get into Ghostbusters and maybe check out the original films, but it definitely has a lot of stuff for the old fans. So it's trying to strike that balance. It manages to do a pretty good job with what they do. And overall, yeah, I give Ghostbusters Afterlife a 7 out of 10.